Let's talk about it. Come on in here. Listen to this Butcher Brown album. This shit's dope as fuck. This new Butcher Brown is dope as fuck. I love this album. Why don't y'all come on in here? Come on in here, come on in here. South American Negro News, Nigerian Butterfly, 225 Girl, Tanya Marie. Appreciate all y'all for joining me. We about to get started in 1 second. We about to get started in 1 second. Yeah. But let's talk about it. Like, what is a genius? What is a music genius? I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm a music genius because I'm not. But I've been around plenty of music geniuses. And being in the presence of music geniuses, I've seen a consistent thing. And so I want to talk about it. What's up, Samurai Show? Caldonia, appreciate y'all for joining. Appreciate all y'all for joining. Yeah, Stevie Wonder's a great example of a genius. George Benson, yeah. I'll say this. The real geniuses, a lot of the greatest geniuses, but the biggest geniuses, most of them you don't know their names. A lot of them, they're the songwriters and the composers and the arrangers that are behind the music. You hear what's put together, but you don't really know who put it together. These people like Kenneth Crouch, that's a musical genius. Leon Ware, Greg Gaines. The people who really, really, really put that music together oftentimes. What's up, Aaron? What up, Aaron? Yeah, Miles Davis, Bobby Hutcherson, Bobby Humphrey, the Isley Brothers, I'm having this discussion because, on the back end, yeah, Isaac Hayes, yeah, Ray Parker Jr., yeah, Gambling Huff. Y'all mentioning some names right now. Y'all ain't said a bad name yet. Willie Hutch, James Brown, yeah. Y'all ain't fucked up once. I got a smart group up in this motherfucker right now. Appreciate that, Go-Go. Roy Ayers, Al Jarreau, yeah, Mike Jackson. Here's why I'm having this conversation, because earlier today, y'all know we talked about Kanye. We talked about Kanye West. And I got a lot of pushback online for some, not so much here in the chat. Well, I didn't really read the chat when I was live earlier. I hardly ever read the chat when I'm on my computer. I read it more when I'm on my phone like this. And that's why I like having these late night talks from the garage so I can interact with y'all a little bit more. That's too low. But damn, them motherfuckers is going. So Paul Lance said he's a marketing genius. I will roll with you on that, Paul Lance. Kanye is most definitely a marketing genius. 100%. And I'm talking about this as a Kanye fan. Like anybody, if you've known me for any length of time, I generally stand up for Kanye. I do. Y'all know I do. And Kanye has his own levels of genius. Most definitely a marketing genius. He's good at putting stuff together. But when it comes to music, I tend to I judge everyone kind of on the same scale. I don't lower the bar just because it's hip hop. Cause I would call Dr. Dre a genius, even though he samples. Even though he samples, I would still call Dr. Dre one. I would still call, there are people all throughout the hip hop that have done some genius shit. And again, not saying Kanye is. I want to put in the context though what it is, what I see as a genius. Let me come on my definition, because there's definitions. Well, let's go with Webster's definition first. Let's go with the official definition first, and I'll come with mine. Genius definition. All right, in the dictionary, it says exceptional intellectual or creative power or other natural ability. A person who is exceptionally intelligent or creative, either generally or in some particular respect. Very clever or ingenious. Okay. Let's go to Webster. What does Merriam-Webster punk ass say? Let me see. A single strongly marked capacity or aptitude. Okay. So by the letter of the word genius, by the actual, I'm just looking at it here, This is based on Western. Exceptional intellectual creative power. Okay. So by the literal definition of the word genius, Kanye probably qualifies because he does have exceptional ability by the literal definition of it. But I go by a little bit of a different definition because black people, black Americans, and there are people, there are non-black Americans that qualify also. I'm not saying this definition is exclusive to us. I don't want to come off like that. But I will say we have a different bar. When you look at some of the stuff our geniuses did, the bar is different for us than it is everyone else. What's up, Caliber? You said Thought Crimes put me on with. Yes, appreciate that. Salute Thought Crimes. Swaggin' say, as an expert on black Americans, I disagree. I'm not gonna fight you on that, Swaggin'. Look, I just personally met some people of non-black American descent that I felt were geniuses. So that's why I'm saying I don't want to exclude them. That's the only reason I'm saying that. I've met people who aren't black who I personally feel are geniuses, So I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to come off like that. But we have a different bar when it comes to us culturally. Black American genius creates out of what's not there, especially musically. Well, even inventing wise, look at all the shit we invent. We create things from scratch. The rest of the world, their genius builds upon a foundation that we generally create out the ethers. JG, I'll do one. Yeah. Oh, this is the Blackbirds in the background. Cause you are the key. It's the Blackbirds. Soft and easy. Ghetto classic. This is ghetto rhythms right here. But Black American genius creates something new that didn't exist before. You know, that's why I'm saying our genius is different. And what's happened with music over the last 30 years is the bar has been lowered. Music has been taken out of the hands of our geniuses. And if I can equate it to sports, it would be like the NBA firing everyone, making sure nobody don't qualify for the NBA. No Kobe, no LeBron, no Kyrie. But the guys that play in the D League get pushed to the front. Like, imagine Bronny James getting all of the #1 MVP awards while Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry had to sit and watch. That's what music is. The people that generally get pushed to the front in music today, your Drakes, your Weekends, they're all Bronny hot jobs. While music, they don't got no money. They ain't got no money. They only sold. That's where we've been in music for about 30 years now. Yeah, Cardi B, Ice Spice, Drake, The Weeknd, Future. We're talking about Craig Elo being promoted over Michael Jordan. We're talking about, how can I say this? We're talking about Vlade Divac being promoted over Shaq. That's what music is, especially mainstream music. So we've been going through this for so long that now we're 30, 25, 30 years into this, to where now the people who've been around for 20 years, we don't understand that they were promoted over somebody that was 10 times better. But the person that was 10 times better isn't controllable because they can control their own and dictate their own way. The people who with slightly less ability have been pushed to the front. Your Jarvis Mosey's, even though J-Mo's won Grammys, y'all don't know who like J-Mo like that. You should. The nigga's a motherfucking musical savant. But he's not teamed with the right people. Doesn't have the right backing. When I say right people, right backing, I mean, not even word right people. He's not teamed with the powers that be, put it like that have the ability to force feed you his music. So the landscape is so dumbed down, especially at the time Kanye came. Kanye came at a time they were really, 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 really dumbing down pop music. And he was a breath of fresh air because his music, especially 2000 to 2006, 7, 8 was fresh. It was a departure from a lot of the bullshit that they were trying to throw our way. He was better than a lot of the bullshit. But a lot of people didn't understand that the bar had already been lowered by the time he stepped through it. So now we get to the point to where you get someone like a Kanye who's really, 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 really good at what he does. But he's on that genius shit and he puts it out there. I'm only having this conversation because Kanye calls himself that. In an interview with Academics, he called himself God. And how he's the end all be all of basically anything music. And that's where I say, hold your horses. That's where Kanye, I'm like, okay, no. You good for what you do. But calm down, please. Calm down. Because Kanye, your biggest hits are samples. Yeah, you hear that words in the background. And now let me talk to you about sampling, because some people have some issues with me talking about samplers. We were talking about samples before. And let me tell you something. When you take chords that have already been resolved, put together, sang out, and expressed, you've done the hardest part. You've done the hardest part. And as a listener, I don't expect you guys to understand this. But look at it like this. Look at it like this. You got people that can go to Ralph's and get a Duncan Hines box cake, and they can make the box cake. And then you got your grandmama that made it from scratch. She was a scientist. She put the eggs in the flour and she cooked up something from a bunch of ingredients and mixed it. And it may have taken your grandmama 7 or 8 hours to get that cake done. And then you got somebody that go to the store and the hard part's already done. And they just basically put everything that's already done, mix it together and put it in an oven. And that person who mixed together what was already the hard part done is getting judged on the same level as the person that had to get all the ingredients from scratch, forage the ingredients from the forest and the environment. That's the difference. And then I got people like somebody said here, you got to realize, well, it's hip hop. Well, again, what you guys that are trying to say, well, it's hip hop. What you guys got to understand is, hip hop is a derivative music. It's a child of the blues. It's still part of the family. I explained that on my tree, on the music tree. So no. You can't say hip hop. You can't on one hand be hip hop 50th anniversary, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, while ignoring everything you sample from. No. You got to come back to where you sample it from. Because those genres, here's the reason why. Those genres that hip hop is sampling, they didn't sample anybody. They had to create from scratch. They had to hear another song, say, yo, I like that song. They couldn't say, let's take a piece of this song and build around it. That's the hardest part, is that part that you're taking. That's the hardest part to create. The standard before was, okay, I hear that. Now I have to create that in my own voice. That's a genius. A genius is somebody that can take something, hear something, be so inspired by it, they recreate it in their own way. That's a genius. And Black America has so many of these people that a lot of y'all niggas would be like, man, they ain't no genius. They not worth $1 billion. Y'all sound like white people. Well, they only sold 10,000 records. What you mean they ain't a genius? Nigga, they was genius enough to create some shit for this nigga you calling a genius to use. This nigga you calling a genius couldn't listen to what they did and recreate it in his own way. He had to build on top of it. It's like, on one hand, you got somebody that's like saying, okay, there's a house that's already built. And you have a designer that's going to come and take that house. They're going to move a wall. They're going to change the paint, put a different roof on, different color, put new windows in, add some shutters to it. It's like comparing that person with the person who went, found the property, dug the foundation, sourced the materials themselves, meaning finding the wood, finding the materials, wrote a blueprint to it, and built the house from the blueprint into a house. Two different worlds. One is a fucking genius. The other is a pretty good damn artist. What I'm saying is, Duke Ellington's a genius. Kanye's a pretty good goddamn artist. Stevie Wonder is a genius. Kanye is dope. You see the difference? What's up, DSB? I appreciate that. You see the difference? Somebody said, imagine Ye chopping samples at 63. No, I want to imagine Ye creating his own music from scratch. That's what I want to imagine. I'm like, how many other people's ideas are you going to recreate? At what point do you say, I'm going to create my own? Herbie Hancock's a genius. See, I look at it like this. You'll have niggas that'll jump in my chat room and argue with me, and you know you don't know 1/10 of what I understand musically. Not saying that I know it all. I'm just trying to refocus who we look at and who we hold into up in the air, because as Black Americans, the only way we're going to maintain and own our music is if we take it back to the standard we had in church. If we take it back to our highest standard. We can't continue this low bar. Because when we lower the bar, everybody gets to play. That's right, PJ. And I'm glad you're not taking it personal. Because I'm not dissing the people who sample them. Sampling has a place. I'm not saying we shouldn't sample anymore. I'm saying sampling has a place. We got to put it in its proper place. You don't place somebody that has to take the nucleus of somebody else's work as the nucleus of their own. Because we used to have a standard before the 90s in our music. You had to be original. Even if you covered somebody else's song, you didn't play the same melody and chords. You created, when Isaac Hayes covered Walk On By, he didn't do it like Dionne Warwick's producers. Stepping into tomorrow. See, this is what Dionne Warwick, Isaac Hayes said, I want to do that song. Sing the samplers. I'm saying we have to, because people like Kanye West has gotten out of control. And what it does is, it doesn't, as a culturally for us as a people, here's why there's always a why. And there's always a motive for what anyone does. And here's my motive. My motive is we have so many geniuses. I want them to get their respect. We as a society should never put anyone on the level of, say, George Washington Carver or Benjamin Banneker. We have to know the difference between John Henry Clark and Henry Louis Gates as a people. We have to know the difference between Ronald Isley and his genius and Drake. Because we get caught up in this trap. Well, Drake has so many streams. He's the greatest. We got to know the difference between Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I'll give you that, Biz Marquis. See, someone like Dilla was a genius. Dilla was a genius and a drummer. Dilla did things with that beat machine, the non-quantized. He brought in that lo-fi sound, you know. Dilla ushered in some new shit. Teddy Riley was a genius. You ask me what I think about Drake, another number one, whatever. I wouldn't say Drake survived his L. Drake is Drake is spinning out of control. Drake just made a whole fucking music video that didn't even correlate to the song that he made just so he can troll Kendrick. Drake is gonna go number one a lot because Drake has a huge fan base. Drake has a formula. You know, he has a formula for very simple, dumb music, and it's not a simple ass people out here. So Drake's always gonna sell a lot. Kendrick's battle wasn't to stop Drake from selling records. It was to show people who he really is. And so mission accomplished. Drake got out of for who he really is. Now, it's a lot of people out there who don't give a fuck. And they're going to buy his records, you know? A lot of people don't give a fuck. They're like, yeah, whatever. I like his music. And Drake makes music for that crowd, you know? So he's going to go, this isn't Drake's last time going number one. He'll go number one again. But Us not understanding what our and it's us as a not having a true appreciation for who our true geniuses are. They're able to slip these people by on us, and here's the reason why this is an important conversation, because now we get someone like Drake in the house, and you see what he's doing, suing. He can change battle songs forever. He can change battle rap and what's allowed to be released in the song forever. All because he couldn't take an ass whooping. You allow this motherfucker in now, he's about to change the rules for the best amongst us. That's why this matters, that we had this conversation. Yeah, Patrice Rushen, she's a genius. She played every instrument on this album. Sly Stone is a genius. Kanye has been giving us, let's just tell the truth, outside of a song here and there, Kanye has been giving us hot garbage for about 15 years now. Can we tell the truth? Kanye been giving us hot garbage. When the 808s and hard bass drop. When was that? 09? When I was selling my Audi A4, A6. He's been giving us hot garbage. Since 08, 09. He has. The thing that's been keeping Kanye relevant is he's basically become a reality star drama queen. Kanye has been in our face, most notably, for well over a decade now, for his antics. Not for his beats. Now, 2001 to 2008 Kanye, he stayed in our face because of his music. His music kept us in, not just his own stuff, his stuff with Jay-Z, his stuff with Common, his stuff with 213, and his music is how we got to know him. But what has he been doing since? Going and showing us, oh, he's dating Amber Rose. That was the story more than his music. Kanye has 24 Grammys, and George Clinton has 0. So the fuck what? You think a Grammy mean anything? Out of all the great music Marvin Gaye did, the only Grammy they gave him was for Sexual Healing. That was probably his worst hit. Sexual Healing was Marvin Gaye's biggest hit was the most time-stamped. Marvin Gaye had given us 2 decades of music before winning his first. Marvin Gaye gave us What's Going On, and it didn't win a Grammy. Anybody talking about a Grammy in record sales? Let me tell y'all something. Anybody talking to you about record sales and Grammys don't know shit about music. They probably listen to DJ Academics for their goddamn music knowledge. Fuck on my face with a Grammy. The Weeknd has more Grammys than Shaka Khan. Rihanna has more Grammys than Diana Ross. Fuck are you talking about Grammys? Jay-Z has a lot of Grammys. All them niggas he stole lines from don't. Like, what are you talking about Grammys? That's how I know you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Ronald Isley, I think the Isley Brothers have, what, 1 Grammy or 2? Do y'all know Ronald Isley's first hit was in 1959? And his last hit was what, 2 years ago? When Beyonce redid Make Me Say It Again, Grow with him? Ronald Isley had a hit. His first hit was the year my mama was born. His last hit was after the pandemic. And he has like what, 1 Grammy, I think? One? Look up how many Grammys Ronald Isley has. The Isley Brothers. The Isley Brothers made Twist. Let me show you and let me show you why when you equate Kanye and these samplers with our true geniuses, let me show you where else that messes us up. It puts us on the par of them white boys. I'll give you an example. The Isley Brothers made Twist and Shout a hit. The Beatles covered it without changing it up much. They just played it white. And when you play something white, that just means less flavor. The Beatles, on a black-owned record label, by the way, VJ Records, it was a black people that made the Beatles popular. The Beatles sampled black people, and it was black-owned VJ Records that put the song out there, Twist and Shout, their cover of it. The Beatles cover is what put them on. It was the Beatles covered the Isley Brothers to get put on. Think about that. The Isley Brothers gave Elton John a gig when they went and toured Europe. Elton John played the keyboards for the fucking Isley Brothers when they were touring Europe. Jimi Hendrix played with the Isley Brothers. And these brothers are still here with us. Rest in peace, Chris Jasper just died a couple months ago. Rudolph Isley died last year. I'm just talking about one group. And how often do you niggas that throw that term genius around ever bring them up? Biggie Small's biggest hits, Isley Brothers. R. Kelly's biggest music with Ronald Isley, with sampling the Isley Brothers. Aaliyah's biggest hit, one of her biggest hits, At Your Best, Isley Brothers cover. You can go up and down a list and how the Isley Brothers are the gift that keep on giving. And these motherfuckers got what, 1 Grammy? Yeah, Tito Jackson was a virtuoso guitarist, and you got people that talk shit. Man, I'm not no Tito Jackson. Nigga, you wish you was Tito Jackson. I hear people say that. I hate when people insult Tito like that. Man, I'm not gonna be the Tito Jackson. Nigga, if you were the Tito Jackson of the group, you would be 10 times better than you are. Tito could dance, play the guitar, and sing at the same time. And harmonize. That. Yeah, the Isley, Kendrick just used the Isley Brothers sample. Yeah. A deformed, a pretty boy. That's probably the comment of the day so far. He said, if you can't play an instrument, with all respect, y'all, so far in my chat room, y'all been making some dope comments today. So I'm no disrespect to any of y'all. But he said, but if you can't play an instrument, I don't give a damn about an opinion of a spectator. Yeah. Yeah, the Isley Brothers. And so we as a culture will sit back and be like, and marginalize something like the Isley Brothers and we'll elevate a Kanye. Well, if you elevate a Kanye, and I've elevated Kanye. I like Kanye. I still like Kanye. His music. What Kanye did between 2000 and 2008, man, that was some of the best shit ever. But I also understand this. What I like most about most of the stuff that he played was samples. She gave me more when I'm in need. A genius is Ray Charles. Now, Ray Charles is a motherfucking genius. Yeah. Y'all call Kanye. Think about how cold we are as a people. And as far as holding up our greats. We'll call Kanye a genius when one of his biggest hits was a Ray Charles song and not understand that Ray Charles is the reason why R&B didn't become an extinct genre. Because when rock and roll was taking over in the late 50s into the 60s, it was Ray Charles in 1960 and 58 when he put that gospel with the R&B. When Ray Charles put that gospel on R&B, that's what made R&B a forever genre. R&B could have gone the way of Boogaloo. It could have gone the way of doo-wop. It could have gone the way of Black Americans. We've created a lot of genres that we left behind. We've created and left behind more genres than we currently deal with. The reason why R&B never left was because when Ray Charles came in and put that gospel on it. When he added the church to rhythm and blues, that's what made rhythm and blues a forever genre. Ray Charles. And the cool part about Ray Charles is he did that and then turned around and put that gospel on country. Nigga, what? Was one of the coolest country artists ever. And then turned around and got with Count Basie and put that jazz on it, nigga. Ray Charles? What? We'll ignore him and fight a nigga over how much of a genius Kanye is. When Kanye had to take, she give me money when I'm in need. Not understanding the original version is the reason why R&B became a forever genre and not Boogaloo or not go-go, because go-go's a forever genre, but it's a regional genre. We have some genres are going to be regional, some genres are going to be around for 3 to 5 years, then we're going to be off to the next. Ray Charles is the reason why the shit is still around. And you niggas will ignore him. When I heard Kanye say, I'm a genius, and he named like 2 or 3 other people, I was like, yeah, no, not cool. Gone too far. Gone too far. We got to talk about this. Oh, yeah, Outkast. Outkast made forever music without having to sample anybody. On the production tip and on the rapping tip. And that's what I'm saying. Who's that said brought up Outkast? Bone Thugs and Harmony. We have genius hip hop. Oh, don't get me wrong. We do have genius hip hop. We got some Rico Wade. We got some genius hip hop producers. Yes, we do. We don't even talk about Bone. These niggas used to harmonize as good as the Temptations and rap in ways none of us can duplicate. That's the kind of rap that I'm used to like. Drake, you niggas can act, we all can actually rap along with Drake. You can't rap along with no Bone Thugs and Harmony. What? The only thing us normal niggas can say is, and I'm gonna miss somebody, and I'm gonna miss somebody. That's the only thing we can catch. Nigga, you had to have talent to rap along with Bone. Nigga, if you can rap along with Bone, nigga, you should be a rapper. Rapping along with Bone is like singing along with Whitney Houston, nigga. You gotta be a fucking alien to rap along with Bone. Chat room, am I making sense? Do I sound like a hater or am I making sense? Bone, nigga, that's genius. Them niggas is geniuses. Twisted, yeah. Bone did music on a level so high, 98% of us cannot fucking stick with them. And put it like this. Let's say you can rap along with Bone. You can't sing along with them. Because them niggas sing better than you too. But then what a nigga say? Man, but they was a group. And you can't really put a group along in the same sentence as an MC. And that same nigga that says that will say Eminem's the greatest of all time. Y'all see how that works? Hey, God of the universe, how about I stick this blunt up your ass? How about that? Bone was a organized noise, Outkast, Scarface. Scarface can produce and rap his ass off. What? Come on now. People like Devin the Dude. Devin the Dude to me is a genius. This shit right here by Scarface, nigga, what? Y'all hear it? Y'all hear it? You must be used to all the finer things. Nigga, what? If people will go around and take a sampler and you will ignore Brad? This nigga Brad made some music. This is music right here. Yeah, Devin the Dude is a cold motherfucker, man. That's it. I think Devin the Dude is a genius. You got DJ Quick. Like, it's not saying hip hop has geniuses. Yes, you can be a genius level samplist, but that's two different levels. If there are 5 tiers of genius, the sampling genius is probably on level 3, 4. And I say it for that same reason. There's some people who gotta go to Costco and buy their ribs pre-seasoned. They go get the seasoned ribs and then just throw it on a grill and take all the credit. Nigga, you didn't season that shit. The person you got somebody that can warm up a box cake, and you got grandmama that can make that German chocolate from scratch. Understand the difference. And the reason why, again, I'm saying that because these geniuses still exist. They're still working right now in music. But these are independent artists that you guys would be like, I'm not going to listen to them because they only got 10,000 streams. Yeah, but we support them. And I'm not saying if you don't like it, you don't like it. I ain't saying that. I'm not saying listen to something you don't like. I'm saying listen to something because you'll come across people who you like their stuff. They just not everywhere. We gotta support them because when we support and really recognize our geniuses and give them the appreciation that they deserve, that sets the bar to a level that people can't colonize our music. The whole point of lowering the bar is so others can colonize the music, and that's probably the thesis statement of tonight's discussion. The bar is lowered so others can colonize. It's a way to bring them in. We used to be smarter than that. When they colonized swing, Count Basie went into producing other artists. Appreciate that, Go-Go. Count Basie went into producing for Frank Sinatra and other people because Benny Goodman, white folks got to swing. Black people shifted and went to bebop and created a level of music that was such a level of genius, it was never colonized. Bebop was never colonized. And it started so many other genres like salsa, not salsa, bossa nova, Latin jazz, and funk, and rhythm, and really spiced up R&B. And bebop brought in something totally new, even though it didn't sell much. Because it didn't sell a whole lot because it was too black, it was too genius. Nobody could do it. No one's, to this day, nobody could do bebop other than us. You even to this day, even when you listen to the white folks colonized cool jazz. Like Miles Davis went off and created cool jazz here in LA. And that, they never quite reached Miles Davis's level with it, but it was a level that they can get to, but they never got to bebop. They never touched bebop. We used to move on and like, oh, y'all into this shit? Nah, same thing with funk. Motown had the mid 60s to most of the 60s in their hands. But too many white people like Motown. So that opened the door for Curtis Mayfield, and it opened the door for like Isaac Hayes to do what he did. Like, you guys aren't going to be able to catch me. Earth and Fire, Parliament, the funk. The funk was just like bebop, and it was just like the early days of hip hop before hip hop was colonized. The funk was all about making music for us. It didn't have to cross over. It didn't want it to. We wanted a sound that we dance to that they can't touch. We didn't want them into it. Didn't sell as much as the disco. Disco sold more. Disco sold more. Disco won more Grammys. George didn't win Grammys. But we made something they couldn't colonize. And out of that, artists are still sampling it to this day. Because a lot of our biggest complaints is they take our shit. Okay, they do. They do. Okay, what didn't they take? What can't they take? They cannot take when we are. I saw a motherfucking possum in this bitch. Oh yeah, he kept going. Fuck out of here. Make sure that possum didn't come in my garage. I saw that motherfucker walking by. Nigga, you better not come up in here. I had a possum come up in here a few months ago. Here we go. We be having all kind of nature over here. So there's a formula for us to get our music and keep it. And that's to create from the universe and trust the universe. Trust the universe for this new thing that is dropping in to your spirit to create. Because you know who else samples? It ain't just hip hop. It ain't just hip hop. It's house music too. It's EDM. Them white boys is making way more money than you niggas are though with they samples. All that dance music, they do the same shit. The white boys just make more money than you niggas. Y'all don't even make as much money as they do for doing the same thing. Yeah, pop, they make more money. They samples, they seem to be able to cover their sample costs and pay out their contract and live out their and pay back their deal and live in fucking Beverly Hills off of 2 fucking records. And a nigga have 20 years of hits and still be like, oh, you still owe. Of course, R&B samples. R&B, pop R&B samples. That shit sucks. I hate when R&B samples. R&B should know better. But the reason why R&B samples is for the same reason a lot of hip-hop samples. What I tried to tell y'all before. What did I tell y'all? What they do when it comes to us and the samples, that's basically the Universal and Sony and Warner, and that's basically these guys making money twice. I appreciate that Bossa Nova Ross said, don't terrorize attendance. Shouts out to St. Louis. Yeah, they make it formulaic, yeah. Yeah, of course EDM has stepped on disco music, yeah. But they make the money more than once because they own the sample. They're using your budget, Your budget is gonna cost 50 grand to clear a sample that they already own. So they make money. It's like a multiplier with the money, honestly. You sample, they get paid on the sample, they get paid on your song. And because you sample that beat, or you sample those vocals, that means they didn't have to pay those 3 background vocalists to come together with that and create that part. They didn't have to pay that drummer, that bass player, that keyboard player, those horn players, the producer, the sound engineer, and all of the studio time it takes to put that sound together that you sample. You see, in your mind, you're just sampling this 1 bar of a song, but that 1 bar has vocals, it has horns, it has drums, bass, keys, guitar. And when that original artist made that part that you're sampling, they had to pay a sound engineer. They had to pay somebody to not only record it, but once it's recorded, clean up any guitar scratches and licks. They had to pay for 5 barbers on tour. They had to pay for 5 hotel rooms on tour. That's a lot of money and a lot of investment that went into that original thing that you sampled. See, if you did it original, they'd have to pay for these. Parliament had sometimes 15 people playing on one song. It's a lot of people to pay. So on one hand, the record company, they don't have to pay all that. All they got to do is, out of that $4 million budget they gave you, they got to deduct 50 grand out of that to clear that sample that they already own. And they've been owning this sample, and they've been making money off that original song for 50 years. They've been making money off that song for 50 years. Now you get 8 seconds, 4 seconds of that song for 50 grand out of your budget. You see how that works? Now, that brother that played the trombone in the Grambling Marching Band, that sister that played the flute for Southern, that brother that's been practicing the drums since he was 3 years old, they don't get a job. Because you rather jerk off on some fucking pad instead of hiring a real drummer that understands the texture of what's going on. Do y'all see? Chat room. Am I bullshitting? I'm listening to Funkadelic right now, Parliament. This is 16 niggas playing right here. This is 16 musicians employed for a song. I'm talking economy. I'm talking about economics, economy. More black people get paid. I'm talking quality. Your soul gets fed. It's a reason why they gotta snap that sample, because there's something in that sample that captures your soul. It's something in that sample that captures your soul. That same thing in that sample that captures your soul can be recreated if we can hire these sisters to sing background again. If we can hire these young music producers with dope ideas to express their ideas. You dig? Somebody says, I agree with your point overall. Niggas was sampling. That means you're not listening. You're talking about 1988. I didn't say sampling doesn't have a place. I said it's over. I said it should be at some point. At what point do you move on? It's cheaper now. This isn't the 1980s when you can go and get a studio right now. I know because I'm in studios. You can go and rent out a recording studio right now with a sound engineer for $150 an hour. Round up 5 guys and do some fucking music. Hell, you can do that. You can do that. This isn't the 70s when it cost all that money. People are doing it. Joseph Lindbergh, he produced the album for Charlie Burrell under Death Row. All live musicians, all live music. Hell, you can even do it cheaper now. If you can't afford an orchestra, you can afford one person that plays the cello, and you can stack their parts. Have one person come in and play the cello and stack it 7 times. Now you got an orchestra. It comes down to, one, are you talented enough? Are you talented enough to even get the ideas on creating this? 2, how much do you really love it? Because I know people doing it all the time. On no budget. Almost no budget. These niggas are out here. They're out here. You're all over the place. Culturally, we just stopped listening to them because somewhere between 1996 and now, we started caring about how many records somebody sold. That wasn't a conversation before 96. Before 2000? Before 2000, how many records it sold wasn't a conversation. We in here, matter of fact, MC Hammer got marginalized because he sold so many records. We knew in the 90s and the 2000s, in the 80s, if you sold a bunch of records, you were probably fucking compromised. That wasn't part of our conversation. And I'm not for the excuses. Y'all, I'm not here to read anybody's excuses, but. I get the excuses. Whatever, it's over. At some point, music has to be returned to the most talented amongst us. Music is a very spiritual calling. It's a very rare talent. It's a spiritual calling. And it heals. Music heals. Music will take you out of depression, yo. Look at the level of depression we have right now. You don't think that's not tied to the music? You don't think that's not tied to the music? When all you hear every day is you the fucking bad, you the fucking bad, you the fucking bad, you the fucking bad, and then the next song is Lil Wayne, yeah, 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 and then the next song is Future, zip it, zip it, zip it, zip it, zip it. Fucking people's minds are going fucking wild. And then when you do get some singing, it's The Weeknd auto-tuning his no soul having ass voice. The most soul you're gonna get is some fucking Bruno Mars. And you wonder why depression's where it is. Are you fucking serious? I remember Egyptian Lover on an interview he had on Be Real TV talked about how when they would do the Uncle Jam's Army parties, 15,000 deep, their safe record was Parliament Funkadelic. Anything Parliament. It was Stop Fights. They literally said that it would be 10,000 people in LA 1986 when the murder rate in LA is way higher than it is now. No fights. Because when the tension will come, put on some Parliament. Niggas ain't gonna fight. You're not gonna see a fight at a Frankie Beverly and Mays show. Put on some Frankie Beverly and Maze right now and see how you feel. You can't tell music is powerful. And in the last 30 years, it's been wrestled away from the best amongst us. And the best amongst us has been marginalized and pushed to the side for the second team to be put on the first team. And now we got the third team starting. Somebody said we're not getting any more Princes. What the fuck are you talking about? God don't stop making Princes and Michael Jacksons. We get them every day. Prince isn't even the most talented black artist of all time. What the hell are you talking about? Prince was no Muddy Waters. Prince was no Duke Ellington. You got to ask yourself, how did we make a century of greats and it stopped? We had Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Sammy Davis Jr., Sister Rosetta Tharpe. We had Ike Turner. I know you guys probably don't understand because y'all don't, not everybody in here, but a lot of people don't know their music history. So these names that I'm mentioning, you probably like, well, who are they? Nigga, but Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, we consistently pump them out. The music industry stopped supporting it. Like I said, what's up, George Richard? Like I said before, the music industry purposely put the developmental league in as the starters. The music industry said no. And if you're on my Patreon, press number 1 if you've seen my Destruction of Black American Music series on Patreon. Press number 1 if you've seen that series, my Destruction of Black American Music series. Press number 1 if you've seen that on Patreon. And if you haven't, shame on you. Join my Patreon. What's up, Go Mac? Rest in peace to Go Mac from Above the Law. That's my guy. Still to Go Mac in here, but rest in peace to Lay Law. He died last year, and Go Mac. Go Mac was a good dude, man. Every time I saw Go Mac, he'd be like, I got something for you. Go Mac knew I'd be fucking with these shrooms. So every time I would see Go Mac, he'd be like, I got something for you. Dude, give me that handshake. Rest in peace, Go Mac, man. Damn. That's my guy. Last time I saw him was when I went to go see Corey at the Ontario Improv. Go Mac was out there. But back to what I was saying. What the music industry basically did, if I could put this in basketball analogy terms, what the music industry did was it grabbed Bronny James and told you that Bronny James is better than Stephen Curry. And it gave Bronny James all of the Grammy Awards. It gave Bronny James all of the radio play. Only thing you got to see every time you watch SportsCenter, only thing you saw was Bronny James. When you played basketball, when you watched ESPN, all you saw was Bronny James. They didn't even show you Steph Curry. You didn't see Kawhi Leonard at his prime. You didn't see Kobe. You didn't see Tracy McGrady. We're not going to show you LeBron. We're not going to show you. We're only going to show you Bronny James. And we're going to keep Bronny James in your face. And we're going to protract this for over a 30-year period. So now for 30 years, we've been getting Bronny James while ignoring Kobe, while ignoring Tim Duncan, ignoring Akeem Olajuwon. That's what you've gotten in music. Does that make sense? You've gotten conditioned to Bronny James being the best, while at the same time being conditioned to LeBron and Kobe just being some guys that don't sell any records. Who are they? They don't have any MVPs. Bronny has 6 MVPs. Who is Kobe? He doesn't have any MVPs. Who is Shaq? We didn't. Who's no? Yeah, that's who Jay-Z is. Jay-Z was a biter. Jay-Z wasn't no fucking original. Jay-Z's biggest lines was somebody else's. That wasn't acceptable before Jay-Z. When they put Jay-Z to the top, that's when it started. When they put Beyonce and Usher to the top in R&B, that's when R&B died. R&B was officially dead when Usher was the #1 male act and Beyonce was the #1 female act. R&B was, as far as mainstream R&B goes, done. Now R&B is still good. Anderson .Paak, Robert Glasper, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, Jasmine Sullivan. R&B is still good on the, on the Wumpty Wham level. But as far as radio R&B go, when Usher and Beyonce got to the top, it was dead. Oh, they're Bronny James. Jay-Z's Bronny James. Somebody said, I don't think Usher can sing. Let me answer that like this. If Usher was in a group like, say, the Mississippi Mass Choir, the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, Marvin Sapp, Kurt Franklin and the Family, Fred Hammond, Usher would be probably the 8th or 9th lead tenor. Alto. If you put him in the Mississippi Mass Choir, Usher's probably the 7th or 8th lead alto. That's how I'm gonna answer that. You guys are not, we're not taught to really understand how great we are as a people. Can Usher sing better than me? Yes. Usher can out-sing me all day, out-dance me, all that. But on the scope of black talent, Usher's probably the 8th or 9th best alto in the group. Usher couldn't make Take 6. Tell you that much. If Take 6 was taking auditions, he couldn't make it. He wouldn't. It's about 1,600 other niggas that would make Take 6 before Usher. That's how I'll answer that question. Yeah, after 7, Usher couldn't make after 7, no. The niggas say Usher couldn't make Shy. No, Michael Jackson actually could, because Michael Jackson could harmonize. And I'll give you an example. When Minnie Riperton died, her last album, she didn't get to finish her last album. People underrate Michael Jackson's vocals. They really do, because he had amazing range. And he had different vocals. He had his childhood vocals. He had those teens to early 20s vocals. And then he had those late 20s on vocals where his voice got more gritty. But if you take Michael in his late teens, early 20s, there's a song called I'm in Love by Minnie Riperton. Let me see. Is that the name of the song? Make sure. I'm in Love Again by Minnie Riperton. This song right here. And Minnie Riperton can sing 7 octaves, one of the greatest singers of all time. In this song, Minnie couldn't finish the song. Minnie died before that album was finished. So there are parts in this song to where Michael Jackson came in. And he sang her parts. But you didn't know that was Michael. Right here. I'm going to turn it up right here. This is Minnie singing. This is Minnie singing. Well, Shaq, I don't want to get too close to the speaker. This right here. That's Michael. You see how they just blended Michael's voice with hers? No, Michael was that nigga. Don't ever speak ill on Michael's name when it comes to his singing ability, homeboy. Whoever told me Michael couldn't, no. Michael literally did a harmony with Minnie Riperton, where he came in and sang parts because they had to do that. That song wasn't written to be a duet. Michael did that part after she died. They made it a duet. And he came in on the heels of what she was doing. Yeah, Philip Bailey, now that's some singing. I'm reading his book right now. I'm reading Philip Bailey's book right now. So that's what I'm talking about, though. Michael comes from an era when you had to be the coldest nigga on the planet to get your shit released. Post 2000s, like I said, those of you who are on my Destruction of Black Music on Patreon and y'all seen that, go join my Patreon right now and listen to my Destruction of Black Music series. It's ongoing. I still got some more episodes coming for y'all. For those of you who pressed number one earlier, I've just been downloading. I'm getting some new information, you know. When my downloads are ready, I'll have some new Destruction of Black Music series. That's ongoing. I'm not going to stop that series. It's ongoing. It just, I will have major gaps in between certain episodes of that because I don't talk to y'all unless I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know? But there was a targeting of our music that started in the early 70s because our music is healing. And they destroyed it on purpose. So whether you're talking about Drake, Kanye, Future, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, understand you're talking about the end result of a plan that got put into place before any of them niggas was born. Well, Jay-Z was around back then. Jay-Z older than that nigga older than Nas. So y'all shouldn't even take it personal. You know, I'm not saying don't like the music. It's certain shit I like. I still like certain Jay-Z songs, nigga. As real as it gets on the Blueprint 3, the girls, I'm gonna still listen to that. I still listen to it. I still like Kanye. Common's album, the album B, is a fucking classic. But I also understand that great production Kanye did, the majority of what I like about it is those samples that he used. Now, at the time he released some of those songs, I know that they're samples. It just sounded good to me. What I'm doing is I'm bringing recognition to the people who created the samples. Because that's a whole nother level of talent and genius. And if you have, let me put it like this. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. If you are relying on someone else's genius, by definition, I have to associate their genius with yours. Is that fair, chat room? If your genius, quote unquote, could not do without somebody else's work without remixing, I, by definition, have to include them in the conversation with you. Because according to you, You needed that. No one put a gun to your head and say, here's a song. No one put a gun to your head and said, here's a song. Now retake this part and remix it and take my sample and make your own, make a new song off my sample. Nobody did that to you. You could have done like like James Carmichael, like Quincy Jones, like Stevie Wonder. You could have done like them, heard that, and said, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. And it still hit. That's only fair. If you cannot redo what that person did and you need it so much that you just got to take it and make it the centerpiece of what you do, that means this is a two-part conversation. Is you and just like the producers of the day, their genius got to become like, when I talk about the genius of Maurice White, I have to include the genius of Larry Dunn. Because Larry Dunn on keys is really the person that really made the Earth and Fire sound. That Larry Dunn, and that's according to Philip Bailey himself. I've heard him say it. I've heard Maurice White say it when I read Maurice White's book. You got to credit Larry Dunn. You got to credit Verdine White and his bass chops. You got to look at Philip Bailey. You got to look at, and this is the beauty in what I'm talking about tonight. What you realize is, as much credit as you want to give that producer, damn, all these niggas is geniuses. Gary Scheider on guitar for Parliament, to be able to play in the pocket while Eddie Hazel was doing all that wailing and shit, and for Bootsy or Billy Bass to sit back and just stay disciplined, and to stay disciplined, nigga, what? What you do in this situation is you expand the conversation. See, it's a very Eurocentric mindset that gets you looking at one nigga. We got to think like people of the earth. It's a community of greatness. And water finds its own level. And greatness attracts greatness. So because George Clinton was great, he attracted the great Eddie Hazel, the great Junie Morrison, the great Grady, the great Gary Scheider, the great Bootsy Collins. Yeah, Ramsey Lewis. Because Ramsey Lewis was great, he attracted the great Maurice White. Because Maurice White was great, he attracted the great Charles Stepney and the great Philip Bailey. And then now you see a team of greatness. Now the conversation got to go into what makes this one great versus this person. Verdine White's greatness was in that bass. Go listen to Can't Hide Love by Earth and Fire. The way Verdine White plays that song, doom, 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 doom. He's not playing much. But that song, Can't Hide Love by Earth and Fire, all that space in the song, to be able to play the bass and not overplay that song, nigga, no one could have written that bass line for Can't Hide Love. But the way Verdine just wanders through that space, nigga, that's fucking great and genius. And what happens is, when the record industry tricks us into being sample reliant, Now, that young bass player born in Atlanta, Georgia, don't get an opportunity to bring his or her flavor and take what you wrote as a composer and flip it into something totally different because they genius. Am I tripping, chat room? Do y'all see how they done this psyop on our minds? Do y'all see how they play this game on our mind? We will sit back and play my master's plantation is bigger than yours with Kanye West. Look at what he did, and totally ignore the people that made the sauce come together from the spirit. I trust us, man. I talk to these youngsters, man, I trust us, man. I know we still got geniuses. And that music is what heals our spirit. A song can stop depression. I'm gonna give y'all a tidbit of advice before I get up out of here. I remember when I was going through depression. Because remember, at the end of the day, music is our healing source. So the goal is to have our music heal us, not to brag about how many streams it got. We need this. Our spirit, we need this. That's my goal, to get us, because I trust us, man. I trust us. I trust some young musicians. I just want my goal is for some musicians out there to hear what the fuck I'm saying. It's some young musicians, and to take it in the heart and to find their own spirit in their music and to express it to us and to collaborate and commune with other musicians with a like spirit. And through your collaboration, through your community, give us something, a creative expression that's going to heal our hearts. Because I remember when I was going through depression, 2014, working with them kids, I was fucked up, man. I was fucked up. Every day working with them fucking kids, y'all know the stories. I'm not about to repeat them because I don't want to get sad. But my job had me fucked up. The thing is, the music is what really, therapy to one extent, but really the music is what really helped get me out of that. That was around that time Good Kid, Mad City dropped. When Good Kid, Mad City dropped by Kendrick, he was illustrating the stories of the streets that I was working on. I didn't live in Compton, but I worked in Compton during that time. I lived in South Central. Wasn't no better than Compton where I lived. I lived on a different side of town, but the same shit. Good Kid, Mad City rationalized a lot of the stories of the kids that I was working with at that time. And it gave voice to my environment. And it gave voice to let me know that my environment ain't crazy. There are those of us out here who, we are good kids, but we in a mad city. So Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City healed me a lot. I was working a job that I was in the thick of things. I was working from South Central to Compton to Watts to the Jungles, all the bad neighborhoods y'all hear about on all the rap songs, Inglewood. Those are my clients, my kids that I work with. So Good Kid, Mad City really illustrated what I was seeing, you know? But the thing about rap hip hop is, and then To Pimp a Butterfly came out, you know, during that same time, little couple years later. Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, like some stuff was sampled, but for the most part, To Pimp a Butterfly, almost no samples, live music. But that gave, so on one hand, that gave voice to what I was seeing at work every day. in my neighborhood, but that's not enough to get voice. Now you got to get healing, and the healing came from songs like Zoom, this right here by the Dramatics, Just Shopping, Not Buying Anything, shit like this. Being able to get home from work, tune out, and let the cellos take me. Barry White, Miles Davis, Kinda Blue, Herbie Hancock, Bubbles, Ohio Players, Earth and the Fire, like being able to open up a bottle of wine, roll a blunt, and just let the vibes flow through. Just listen to the music. Alice Coltrane, you know? Oh my God, if y'all don't know who Alice Coltrane is, find out. Now today we got people like Brandy Younger. I love her. They make music to where all you gotta do is just listen and breathe. The Isley Brothers, Frankie Beverly, the Manhattans, Brick, Slave, the Temptations, Mary Wells, the Dramatics, Martha the Vandellas, Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, John Coltrane. Put on some Coltrane and just breathe. You want to get out of some depression? You want to feel better from whatever your current situation is? Put on some John Coltrane and just breathe. Do that for 15 minutes. Yeah, the Ebonies. This motherfucker said the Ebonies. That's some gambling huff shit, nigga. You an old school nigga. You said the Ebonies. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, baby, baby. Just speak. Excuse my vocals. I'm a happy guy. You're the reason why. I feel like a king. But that's what music does, and that's music is a gift from God, man. Then say your parents to play that stuff, yeah. Yeah, Love Supreme. So again, while I got people that's trying to argue with me, they didn't sell this many records. No. What has Kanye's music done in the last 15 years to remove stress from your life? Let's be honest. From 808s and Heartbreaks, Life of Pablo, if you play that stuff and just breathe, what does it do for you? Does it heal you? I know it sounds good, but be honest, does it heal you? Now, I will say songs like Last Call. Last Call is one of my, like whenever I feel like my shit, he said, watch the throne is black arrogance. Nigga. You said a whole word. Danny Michael said entertaining but not spiritual. Yeah. Last Call, that song inspires me. But put anything Kanye has done post 2008, starting with 808 and Heartbreaks on. You could actually go a little before that because the inspirational stuff he was doing before that, mostly samples, but play that music and then play Off the Wall. Play Off the Wall by Michael Jackson when we get off here. And Breathe to Off the Wall. Ooh. Yeah, D-Train, Keep On. Sky is the limit. If you know the truth, you can have what you want, be what you want. D-Train, Keep On. You talk about that's some music. That's God's music. Again, I'm not talking about not bad. Look, I go to my grave saying McDonald's is good fucking tasting food. But I know like a motherfucker, I can't eat that shit every day. I would love nothing more than to go get a fucking Big Mac right now. But I also know what that'll do to me. Gotta be honest. Nigga, cheeseburger and the cheeseburger combo from McDonald's tastes good in the motherfucker. I ain't had one in like 6 years. Cause I know what the fuck it does to me. You see how that works? Saying something is good, yeah, it is good. Whoppers never, to me, I haven't eaten a Whopper as big as I am. I haven't eaten a Whopper since before the pandemic. Not because Whoppers stopped being good. Them hoes still taste good from the last time I had one. Yeah, it tastes good like a motherfucker. Still a fucking Whopper. We have something special. And we got to recognize that. We got the ability to really heal. And we still got artists out there doing that music. Music doesn't stop. It was some dope. 2024 was like Andre 3000 started something. When he came out, 3000 gave us a healing. People was like, well, he wasn't rapping. Nigga, he changed the tune. He was telling you it's not time to rap. It's time to sit back and look inside. That's what Andre 3000 albums was, and I still play it. His album was telling you to look inside. And then last year, Robert Glasper released a meditation album. Brandy Younger did. Some music, we got to have a variety in palette. You can't just listen to hip hop. Some music is, you got to just turn on to just let your spirit heal. You ain't going to listen to it every day. You're not going to listen to it a lot. But sometimes music got to heal. That's the power of music. You say you listen to New Blue Sun on some shrooms? Hell yeah, I know that was nice. Yeah. Our music really, look, black people, let me tell you something. We going through a lot, man. And we communicate through music. You got to really watch what we hear. And when you listen to when you listen to Herbie Hancock Bubbles, you're going to hear a genius. And it's not just Herbie Hancock. Every musician on them projects, they're all geniuses. It's a convergence of genius. And that's where the music is. When the genius musicians converge. And the genius sound engineers with the genius music producers that can put it all together. That's the pocket. When we come together and it's a communal process, that's where God is. That's where the God in our music is. That's what gives you something that is going to heal your soul. I got my neighbor coming in. She stinks. Oof. Ah. I might get up out of here because Friday night's my night to be listening to my music. I'm about to, I got another blunt upstairs that I forgot I rolled earlier. No, I got a pre-roll upstairs. I'm about to smoke that pre-roll, put on my headphones and just, and heal. And listen to something, like, man, disconnect from the news sometimes. Like, I know it's Friday night, Saturday night, at some point, man, disconnect from YouTube. I appreciate y'all for listening to me and everything, but disconnect from TV, sports, everything, and just, man, play some music, man, and breathe. Play some Alice Coltrane. Play some Jones Girls. Play some of The Emotions. And play some Aretha. Play some Kamasi Washington. Play some Jarris Mosey. Play some Terrace Martin. Some Jill Scott. Some Erykah Badu. Just breathe, man. Smoke one, drink one, or don't smoke or drink at all. Just breathe. Sometimes you ain't gotta get inebriated. Sometimes I don't even smoke. I just breathe in God's air, man. Just shit. Sometimes just about breathing in the air and God's good oxygen. And stand outside, look at the stars. It's a half moon tonight. I'm about to go out there and look at that moon. I know the moon is still shining beautiful up there. Sirius is down. Sirius should still be up. But now you got Arcturus is gonna be up. We got planets in the sky. You see Mars up there. You can look up and see Mars and Gemini. They're making like a triangle. Man, look at the stars, breathe deep, and just heal yourself, man. That's what music is. Fuck a record sale. You're not gonna get a record sale. You're not gonna get a piece of the money, and fuck a Grammy, because they don't give Grammy plaques to you. The only thing you get out of a song is how it makes you feel. You dig? Man, I appreciate all the super chats. I thank y'all for listening. About to get up out of here and listen to go on my own music journey without talking to you niggas. I'm about to shut the fuck up. I got 3 readings tomorrow in the morning too. I'm about to shut the fuck up and let the music flow through me. All right? Go to Intellectual Power. Get your intellectual power, intellectualpower.net. Peace pads. Shit. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.